This is Talking Mule Deer with your hosts Steve Belinda and Jodi Stemler. Talking Mule Deer takes you on a journey to learn more about the Mule Deer Foundation, mule deer and black-tailed deer biology and management, tips and tactics for hunting, conservation issues, and even features some of our corporate and celebrity partners. Now, let's start talking mule deer. Hello, this is Jodi Stemler, and we're talking mule deer at the SHOT Show, the Shooting, Hunting, and Outdoor Trade Show in Las Vegas, Nevada.
Hi, and I'm Steve Belinda, and today we've got with us the shooting editor for Outdoor Life and Field and Stream, Mr. John Snow. John, welcome.
Thank you.
Hey.
Good to be here.
We're happy to have you here, John. Thank you so much for taking your time. I know this is a busy show for you. How many SHOT shows have you been to?
Oh, my goodness. I think this is now 21 or 22.
And they're just getting bigger, aren't they?
They just, or my legs are getting shorter.
Oh.
One or the other. I'm not sure.
I heard on the way in there's like 60,000 people coming in for this. That's crazy.
It is. Yeah. It is an amazing spectacle. And this is really where most of the products are launching, the companies are launching their products for the year. So your job while you're here is looking at some of the new rifle offerings and shotguns and others that are going to be out there. Is that true?
Absolutely. I make the rounds and try to find everything new and exciting that goes bang one way or another.
That's just not the book slamming on the floor then. You know, it's all firearms, right?
Yep.
Handguns,
all
rifles, shotguns.
Absolutely. And when I can squeeze it in, the ammo, the optics, the electronics, the accessories.
It's a pretty cool job. So why don't we let's step this back a little bit and find out how you came to be the shooting editor for Field and Stream and Outdoor Life. What's your background? Where did you come into this?
Well, my background professionally is more as a straight journalist. You know, I came at this from the journalism angle. So a couple years after college, I was at sort of loose ends, and it sort of dawned on me that I like talking to people. I like not being at a desk. I like writing. I'm kind of curious about the world, and so becoming a reporter became this idea that I got, and I sort of followed up on that and managed to end up working at some local newspapers and then did magazine work, and eventually I sort of burned out on that, and I needed a change of pace. I grew up fishing, not hunting so much. I didn't really come from that kind of a family, but I did have.
So you didn't grow up hunting?
No.
Very.
Did you shoot at all as a child?
I did. Well, here's the thing. I shouldn't confess this, but like most of us, I was a outlaw little rascal. So as soon as I got a BB gun, when I was 11 or 12 years old, stuff started falling in my yard. And
no.
Yes, I know it's awful to admit, but here's the thing: is that I always ate a bunch of the stuff that I shot.
Oh, good for
so
you,
whether
right
it was
on. Was that a mommy making you do that, or
no?
You just,
no. Actually,
and your mom was like, "Where did you grow up?"
I was a consummate latchkey kid. My parents weren't around, so a lot of the time.
So you were a young child with a gun.
Yes.
Doesn't happen a lot these days, does it?
No, it doesn't.
I can relate to that. So.
Yeah.
Where did you grow up?
I grew up in Connecticut, in New England.
Wow.
Yep, down in Branford on the shore of Long Island Sound. So a lot of fishing down there.
Yep. Good saltwater fishing.
Yeah, good saltwater fishing. I had a pond in my backyard, and that was my happy place, and still love to fish. But I always had that bloodlust as a kid. I don't know if people are born hunters or if it's in them. But as soon as I became an adult and kind of had a little more ability to sort of do this stuff, I got into hunting, and it was very natural for me. I could feel it coming. I just didn't have anybody to show me when I was younger.
But now you started to pursue this independently, not as part of your journalism at that point.
Oh
right?
yeah, no, they were parallel passions.
We see a lot of hunters get into shooting after they learn how to hunt and they're successful, but you're just the opposite. You were a shooter that then got into hunting, and I think you're probably a better marksman because you were really focused on technique and the mechanics and intricacies of shooting versus just going out and trying to harvest the game.
Well, you know what? When you've got a lot of time and an imagination, things like ballistics tables and things like that can kind of transport you, so you can study those things.
You actually like those?
Yes, I did like those. I was fascinated by all of that stuff.
Technology.
They're Greek to a lot of people.
They are.
Yeah, but don't get me wrong. I did not start off a great marksman. I mean, I enjoyed it a lot, but it was only later that I started to understand everything I was doing wrong.
Yeah.
and got some real instruction, and that's when the sort of the curtains were drawn back, and all of a sudden I realized, wow.
So how did that transition happen? How did that? I mean, did somebody take you under your wing? Or was it getting into a more outdoor writer type of a position?
It started actually. The first good piece of instruction I got, I couldn't tell you who the guy was. I was living in Seattle at the time, and I had joined a gun club up there, and I had, my firearms collection at the beginning, like most people, very modest. I had a Remington 870 pump action shotgun, and I had 130-06 bolt gun, and one handgun, sort of that was it. And I was not doing very well with the shotgun, because I'm left-handed, and so I shot left-handed, and this guy finally, out of mercy or pity, couldn't stand watching me do what I was doing, and I learned about correct eye dominance and everything else, and realized I was doing it backwards. I'm right eye dominant.
Left-handed, but right eye dominant.
At his urging, I learned how to shoot a shotgun and a rifle right-handed.
Okay.
And that was the first piece of real instruction I got, and that was a very life-changing moment.
Yeah, we do that at Hunter Ed and other courses. We teach people how to do their dominance with the triangle to the eye, holding the something. And it's funny because those of us have shot a long time. I'm right-handed, but I'm left eye dominant. When I go to shoot left-handed, which would probably make me a more accurate shot, the comfort level, I just can't get past it. So I'm actually a better shot. I've learned how to shoot right-handed with that left eye dominance.
Right.
Now, saying that, my eye dominance changed in my 20s. So I was already shooting eye dominant right-handed for a long time, and then when it switched, I was like, you know what? I'm just going to make the adjustment.
I heard about that recently, actually, that your eye dominance can change, and that you looking at a computer screen for an extended period of time. So if somebody finds that they're suddenly not shooting as well as they used to, you may want to actually check your eye dominance. It doesn't.
Well, funny story. I found out because I was a bow hunter, and I shot an elk, and I shot the elk not near where I should have, and I was like, why did I miss by 8 inches? I still harvested the animal, but I went back and was just like, well, this is way off, and ended up, testing my eye dominance, and of course it went to the left eye, and I was like, wow. And that happened in a 2-week period from the end of practicing to hunt, and then 2 weeks later when I harvested an elk, and I had gotten the flu in the middle of there, and so I don't know if that had anything to do with it, but that's a great story that that your dominance, and really, I don't know if you had the comfort issue that I have, but.
Well, I just kind of, I powered through it,
Yeah.
I mean, what I would do is I would take a shotgun and just shoulder it on what was the awkward opposite side for me. I would do that in little sets of 10 and kind of just in the house dry firing, picking a spot on the wall. And it took a little while. It took 2-3 weeks, to sort of start it, to have it feel a little more natural, and it took even longer than that to have it be instinctive.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. But I did make the shift. It's not as hard as I thought it might be, and I think, and actually, I do shoot better for it because as a lefty, I want my dominant hand out there controlling the forend of the gun. The gun that's pulling the hand that's pulling the trigger and holding the stock, it's not doing a lot of work.
Right.
You want your coordination, your natural
that's interesting point.
dominant hand out there. So actually, it's a benefit. It's just tough for guys who are right-handed and left eye dominant. My son falls into that because now the options for left-handed rifles and left-handed actions is not as they're just not as many of them. So it's
and they're actually more expensive too. A left-handed gun. We ran into that. My dad lost sight in his right eye. Had to switch in his 40s and found out that a left-handed rifle was $150 more than the same model right-handed. But that was 30 years ago. I don't know if it's the same now. So.
Yeah, I think that they pretty much keep them the same price now. But you do have more limited options. There's no doubt about that. But you can end up being a better shot if that's something that you struggle with.
So you were a shooter. You became a hunter. And recently you went on a mule deer hunt, I understand.
Well, hold on
Eastern
a second.
Mountain.
I actually want to make the transition to when did you start working doing outdoor writing, and when did you transition to outdoor journalism and start, going from it? I'm teaching myself and I'm taking random pieces of information from people at the range to being an expert on guns and shooting and hunting.
Well, what happened was that I had burned out on my job in New York City. I was working at the New York Times. I was their first new media editor, actually. First, I was part of the very first new media. This was Internet 1.0, I was just done, and so quit my job and just picked up and moved to Seattle and didn't have a job. And was actually looking in the help wanted ads of all places. I mean, exactly the kind of stuff you'd never think would have worked. And I certainly wouldn't recommend this career path or this career planning to anybody. But I did find an ad in there for an outdoor company that was looking to launch a magazine in the Midwest. And it was still based in Seattle. Yeah. And I had actually spent a lot of time in Michigan fishing and hunting. And I'm like, I can do that. And I'd actually had a lot of new business development experience at that point, so we had launched, various products and things like that. So that wasn't unusual for me either. And started working at a place called Fishing and Hunting News.
Yep.
And I got those for a long time. So.
Yeah, and so I was there for its kind of the final chapter of that magazine and that business, and it was a great 4 years there. And that was kind of my introduction to the outdoor business.
Okay.
Then after that, that business was kind of folding. It was based on an old business model, and it just wasn't viable the way it was anymore. And my wife at the time was just like, well, what are the best magazines out there that you want to work at? I said, well, Outdoor Life and Field and Stream. She's like, well, you should apply to them. And I knew that would bring me back east. So I did a cold letter to them and to each, and I ended up getting a call back from the editor-in-chief of Outdoor Life then, Todd Smith, and he said, you wrote about the job. And I said, oh, yeah, the job. Yes, that one. Tell me more. And that's, they had a position for a senior editor open, and I came out and interviewed for it, and that was back in early 2001.
Okay, that's about. Actually, I didn't realize you were new. That was about when I met you.
Was
when I was still with Congressional Sportsmen's Foundation. So.
Yeah. And so I started.
But so did you have to move? Because
I had to move back
to New York City because that's where
back to New York City. So I was living in Connecticut at that time and commuting in, and so I started there in 2001, and I of course I'm not going to work at a magazine where Jim Carmichael is and not pester him. And he got, he could get ornery.
No.
But man, I just kept at it, and I sort of made him my mentor, whether he wanted me in that role or not, and started helping out with the gun tests over the years, and really, that's where my technical knowledge started to really gel. You think you know a lot until you meet somebody like Mr. Carmichael.
Yeah,
absolutely.
And then you realize you've still got quite a bit of hill to climb. And then when he retired in 2009, I got the blessing from him and everybody else on high, and I stepped into his shoes. And I am the 5th shooting editor in the history of Outdoor Life.
Wow.
Since 1898.
That's pretty impressive. And again, learning from one of the best ever. At the hands of great wisdom there. So.
And of course, in the office, I also had Dave Petzel.
Yeah.
He was in the office then. And I became very good friends with him and enjoyed him. And never in my wildest dreams would I have thought that I would be able to call myself shooting editor of both Outdoor Life and Field and Stream. But this last year, that's how that worked out.
So what does that? I mean, so you're based in New York City.
No, I went back.
Oh, that's right. You're in Bozeman.
Yeah,
now.
I went
back.
I went. Yeah, no, I got. Here's the thing: I did the shooting editor job for a year back there, and I went to my boss and I just said, I can't do this job here anymore, man. I've got to get out west. He's like, yeah, no, don't we all? I said, no, I can't do my job here anymore. He's like, oh. I'm like, all right. And so we kind of went through the thing, and they gave me a nice big pay cut and said, go have fun. And so that's what I did.
So are you in the field quite a bit? Are you going, describe a
entail?
year.
Yeah, what's the job entail?
Well, the job entails, a lot of time in the field, a lot of time shooting guns, evaluating, talking to people about trends and what they're developing, and kind of, working a lot of times actually working with them at this point. I've got these long-standing relationships now. I do a fair amount of competitive shooting as well.
What competitions?
I do mostly long-range precision rifle stuff, tactical field matches, PRS type matches.
Okay.
That's what I do mostly now.
Excellent.
Yeah.
So with the hybrid cartridge phase we're going through right now, again, it seems like you're probably having quite a bit of new calibers, new ballistics, new loads that you're evaluating, and it just seems like it's almost like a whiskey or a beer thing. It's become a craft issue for a lot of people right now.
Well, we have learned so much. What we've done with cartridge development in the last 15, 20 years is just remarkable. And, there are a lot of classic cartridges that are great, that I love, that I still love. But we are spoiled now with some really great cartridges that really bring a lot more to the table than a lot of the old classics do. And it's a lot of people love to grumble about, well, there's nothing that this one can't do that my OT6 can't do. And okay, fair enough. It's not like all of a sudden those cartridges don't work, but we do understand much better now a lot of interior ballistics, and we have developed better bullets. Where before, the way we would get performance would be to take a lighter bullet and drive it really fast and shoot it flat. Classic example, the 257 Weatherby that we'll be talking about, one of my favorite cartridges. Yeah. But, today, what we're doing is we're taking more moderate-sized cartridge cases, heavier bullets, driving them a little bit slower, but because they are so ballistically efficient that by the time you get out to further distances, they will surpass what those little fire breathers that are ripping out at the muzzle do. So that's kind of where we've ended up.
I am constantly amazed of the out-of-the-box accuracy of factory ammo and off-the-shelf rifles these days.
That's right.
243 bought for my daughter. They said it was bore-sighted. It has an aftermarket scope on it. It was a package deal. Went out with some federal ammo and was driving dime groups out of the box and have never had to touch that gun. And 30 years ago when I was a kid, I would have never thought that would have been possible. Yeah. It was the hand loaders that could do that stuff. And now it's at our fingertips at a very low cost and very, the knowledge base, as you said, that's out there. If you want to know about this stuff and you want to become a better shooter, it's right at your fingertips. And it's in a way that, you don't have to have a PhD in physics or mathematics to understand it either. So
that's right. Yeah, no, we're spoiled now. Yeah. It's a great time to be a precision shooter.
So, Eastern Montana last year, you talked about your 257 Weatherby.
Yes.
Tell us a little bit about this hunt.
Oh man, that was great. Well, mule deer is, my favorite. It's that classic thing. You can only hunt one thing. What would it be? And for me, it's mule deer. And I love mule deer, love mule deer country, love the animals, love how they behave, love watching them. And so I had an opportunity to work with the Mule Deer Foundation last year and the guys at Rolling Bones and Weatherby and Zeiss, and we put together this kind of cool idea to go hunt down in southeast corner of Montana near Alzada down there. And God, we just had a wonderful, wonderful hunt. Took place over a week, and it's just everything you always hope it will be. We had just driving snow, wind 30 miles an hour.
I was down there. I know exactly what you were talking about. My daughter and I were down there that week, and man, it was tough hunting, but it was
it was tough hunting. It was tough hunting, but we were up in this broken ground, this butte area, and just a lot of great country to move through and glass through, and it was just fabulous. Took us a few days to do this. That weather, like everybody who's done it knows, that can shut them down for a little bit, but they're going to get hungry at some point.
Well, and this story that about your hunt is in MDF's magazine, the member magazine that should be hitting houses in early January, mid-January, right before convention. And the important part for Hunt Expo, Western Hunting and Conservation Expo, is that You used a Weatherby 257, and that rifle that you used, plus a hunt with the Zeiss optic as well, plus a hunt with rolling bones, is going to be at auction on the Friday night Conservation Banquet during Hunt Expo this year. So you will be able to have a chance to buy the gun that John shot, this limited edition, beautiful. Tell us about the gun.
Yeah, well, this isn't just any regular gun. This is cool. So for the 70th anniversary of the Mark V, one of the greatest hunting actions ever made, Weatherby did a special run of 70, and they were, if you know anything about Roy Weatherby and how he built up Weatherby and that Hollywood, California look, these rifles embody Roy Weatherby's vision. High gloss wood, high Monte Carlo cheek piece, the exaggerated pistol grip, beautiful exhibition wood. I don't know which grade it is, but it's the highest. I mean, just lovely, lovely blank on this. Skip line checkering on it, the white spacers, the rosewood 4-in tip. I mean, just luscious, beautiful bluing on the metalwork. So this is just a lovely, lovely rifle. And there were only 70 of these made, and of course they all got snapped up right away. But there was one. There was one that was supposed to go to the governor of Wyoming when Weatherby announced their move. It was for the help they got. They were like, they want to present this to him. Well, in Wyoming, the governor can't take a gift like that.
Right.
He couldn't take it. So I said, I'll take it. And they're like,
me.
They're like, well, why should we give it to you? I said, because you like me. And they're like, no, that's not good enough. I said, well, how about we raise some money for our favorite critter? And so anyway, we came together with the Mule Deer Foundation and Weatherby, and Zeiss also stepped up, and we put this package together where I would take this beautiful, beautiful gun, go hunt with it, write a story about it, and we would auction off the equipment I used and also the experience I had with Rolling Bones, and hopefully somebody is going to be just over the moon to own this gun, which really is a historic, beautiful rifle.
Well, and the fun part about the story is that you were very aware during your hunt that this gun was going to be auctioned off and how stunning and beautiful it was. And so the challenge of hunting in that kind of broken country in the middle of a snow and an ice storm and keeping that gun looking as nice as it was, that I found that quite amusing to listen to your story about that.
You know how one of the tenets of wisdom is to know thyself. And if there's nothing I've learned about myself, I am hard on gear. I break stuff. I mean, it's part of what I do with my gear testing. But I knew that I couldn't just be my normal, thoughtless guerrilla self, like with the Samsonite, suitcase thing, which is kind of what I normally do. So in this awful, horrendous weather, just driven ice and through this slippery, just slicky, kind of clay and stuff just falling over. So I'm taking my rifle with me, but it is encased in a soft case everywhere I go.
Like a baby.
I mean, like a baby. This thing is swaddled like a little newborn Eskimo kid, and so as I'm carrying this thing around the mountains, so it made things a little awkward for me. I bit the dust a couple times, trying to maneuver with this thing, but I can guarantee you that other than a couple lovely little barely noticeable character marks, that this thing is still in flawless condition.
It's interesting you say that. When I was a youngster, listening to my father and friends and aunts or uncles and aunts and that talk about hunting, and I got the vast impression that the gun takes on character from every hunt that it's been on, and it haunts, not in a bad way, but it haunts that wood and the barrel and the bluing, and so whoever buys this rifle is going to have that mark in there from your hunt, from the, what Weatherby's putting out there is a commemorative rifle. One of the best, I agree with you, one of the best calibers, I think, made for mid-size game, and also that eastern Montana feel and the hunt that you get out there. And I think that's just going to start the career of that rifle off well.
Good omen for the future buyer. So keep your eye on that. If you're not going to be out at Hunt Expo, there is going to be online bidding for this and all of the auction items. That's available through the Hunt Expo app. or there will be links online as well. But so if you're not going to be able to be in Salt Lake City in February, you still might have the chance to buy this online, because it is quite a unique and special thing. Not just the hunt itself that you'll have the chance, but to have a gun that is limited edition, made by Weatherby. Adam Weatherby obviously is on the Mule Deer Foundation's board, and then used by Field and Stream and Outdoor Life's 5th ever shotgun, or I'm sorry, shooting editor.
Shooting
sorry.
editor.
So tell me about what you've been seeing here at SHOT Show this year. Is there anything that you are particularly excited about? Anything new that mule deer hunters or other Western hunters might be interested in knowing about?
Yes. Well, I there are a couple of really good pieces of news, I think, just from a gear standpoint on there. If the 257 Weatherby, as we know, is one of the classic open country cartridges and is wonderful. But we've also had some newer cartridges that have come along that are equally impressive and embody some of this more modern design. So the 6.5 PRC, for example, is a fabulous open country cartridge and very inherently accurate, and capable of ethically taking game at extended distances. And we're seeing a lot more very accurate, purpose-built guns that are incorporating carbon fiber either in the barrel or in the stock, or in some cases both. And so there are a lot of great open country, lightweight, kind of mountain rifles that very comfortable to shoot, but that are also stiff and handle well and are accurate. So I mean, and that trend, I've definitely seen a lot of like really good-looking mountain rifles coming out this year, and these accurate cartridges, whether it's the 6.5 Creedmoor or the 6.5 PRC, these are great open country, flat shooting cartridges that are very effective. So yeah, some good news.
Are you seeing the desire for those worldwide, other countries, and is it just a United States thing?
No, the 6.5 craze is kind of sweeping different parts of the world. It really is. I mean, what that cartridge has accomplished, it's really, changed so much because for a long time we just would not get anybody to look at a new metric.
Right.
I mean, if you wanted to have a successful cartridge introduction, it better have a 30 in its name somewhere. But
so what is different about it? So for some people, I mean, people have heard about it perhaps, but may not really truly understand what is different between a 6.5 Creedmoor and then what's different with the new PRC round from a Creedmoor.
Right. Well, the 6.5 PRC is the 6.5 Creedmoor's big brother, so it's going to be a couple hundred feet per second faster. Okay. But they are both extremely accurate, inherently accurate cartridges. The 6.5 Creedmoor was developed by Dave Emery and Dennis DeMille. Dave Emery from Hornaday and Dennis DeMille, one of the greatest of our modern shooters, for across the course high power competition. So they kind of on a napkin, sketched out the qualities that he wanted in this competition round. It had to be accurate, easy to reload, light recoiling, have good barrel life, and down the list, right? It just also happens that those 6.5 bullets, by virtue of their construction, are amazing hunting bullets. They penetrate like crazy, and they are have very good terminal ballistics. And so once people started winning matches with the 6.5 Creedmoor, and that's really how it started. People started winning matches with it, and then taking it into the field, and saw how effective it was. There was just no stopping it.
Awesome.
Cool. Any other surprises or exciting things? Are you going to be out at Hunt Expo this year?
I am going to be out at
Yay.
Hunt Expo. I can't wait to get out there.
It's such a great show.
It's a good time. Yeah,
it's a good time. So. Good crowd. I'm excited to say goodbye to my rifle. I know I'm gonna miss it, but I'm happy. I'm happy to think about it going to another really good home, and hopefully it will have a long career out there in the field.
The adoption papers come with it.
The adoption paper, the adoption.
Is there visitation?
The proper care and feeding instructions and all that. No, I will. It's I will follow up on this rifle, but somebody's going to be very happy with it. I can guarantee you that.
Well, John, it's been a privilege for us to talk to you today. You know, the 2019 SHOT Show is huge. It's awesome. We're glad that you're here. We're glad what you do for mule deer and for conservation. And we look forward to seeing you at Expo. But more importantly, we look forward to continue to see quality articles and content coming out of outdoor life in Field and Stream because of your leadership.
Well, thank you. I appreciate it. It's been a pleasure and an honor to sit down with both of you today and get away from the show floor for a few minutes.
Now it's back to the grind.
Yes, it is.
Thanks, John. So for now, from SHOT Show 2019, this is Jodi Stemler.
And I'm Steve Belinda. Until we talk to you next time, thank you. You could be the proud new owner of the 257 Weatherby Mark V 70th anniversary rifle that Field and Stream and Outdoor Life shooting editor John Snow used recently in eastern Montana. And you could also go on the same eastern Montana mule deer hunt with Rolling Bones Outfitters. This incredible package will be auctioned off as item number 33 during the Friday night auction on February 15th's Conservation Banquet at the Western Hunting and Conservation Expo. Get your tickets now at the website www.huntexpo.com or on the Hunt Expo app for your smartphone or device. Can't be there in person? Once again this year, we will have online bidding for all of our incredible auction items through the Hunt Expo app, so make sure you download it today so you can get in on the action. See you at the Expo.
Thanks for talking mule deer with Steve Belinda and Jodi Stemler. The Mule Deer Foundation is the only conservation group in North America dedicated to restoring, improving, and protecting mule deer and black-tailed deer and their habitat. MDF is a strong voice for hunters in access, wildlife management, and conservation policy issues. To find out more, visit www.muledeer.org and stay tuned for the next episode of Talking Mule Deer.